Hey guys, so season 3 has finally arrived in Korea. And it really feels like Christmas morning with all these changes, all these updates, just being waiting for us to really just explore it and get to know everything. I'm sorry if I look a little bit tired. I've been streaming for a lot today. I streamed my new schedule, from 1 p.m. PST to 7 p.m. PST. And also I streamed some additional hours, basically kind of doing a similar hour timeline to like my old stream, starting at like later in the night to cover all the new stuff. But I am here to make you guys a video about what I think are the most important things that we've learned so far about season 3 tier 4. Now, with this update came a big patch notes, and first thing I wanted to cover definitely has to be the solo raids. Stoops was watching Tofu do some solo raids, doing some solo Akan on his breaker, and we found out a couple of things that are pretty interesting. So first off, on these patch notes, basically they're saying that, it's going to be solo raids. I mean, one versus the boss, and, there's going to be these buffs that you can put on your characters, right? And unfortunately, this solo raid does not give us any sidereal energies. So if you want a chance to get the sidereal energy, you unfortunately will have to go and do the group content, which, I mean, unfortunately, I'm saying unfortunately because some of you guys might want to do just solo raids. But if you want a chance at the sidereal energies, you will have to go and do the group raids. But solo raids, from what I saw, are pretty simple actually. It's pretty easy to do and it's pretty hard to fail. And when you clear it, you get about a 50 to 60% ish of the rewards in terms of gold as you would when you do it in a group, which is, in my opinion, actually pretty nice. I was actually expecting lower than that, maybe somewhere around like 30%, but 50 to 60% is actually a pretty high number. And I think a lot of people are going to be, as a result, going to be just doing solo raids on like the lower tier raids and on their alts. And for the regular raids, of course, that's going to be normal. We can only do those in groups later on. But the lower solo raids are going to be something people are going to be doing a lot on their alts. But one thing that I did want to mention in this is that for solo raids, when you kill the boss itself, the amount of materials that you get, even though they did advertise those as higher in the past, in the lower on, is actually lower than doing it in groups. But there is a catch to it. And that's because we have these coins that we get from doing solo raids. And you could use these coins for exchange for things like these level 7 gems, for free level 7s. But also, you can exchange them for the materials that you need to craft the equipment. So when you get those coins, you can go into the solo raid shop and buy extra materials every week. For example, for a con, you can get on your character 20 extra eyes per week, which is quite a bit because in NA right now, we get about, I think from gate 1, we got about 14 with like kind of the bonuses. So basically, it's an extra gate's worth of materials, which is very nice. So if you did want to go and progress your character faster, you will be able to use the solo raids to do that. But again, gold going to be reduced to about 50 to 60%, which is quite fine. You just be able to do it from all your characters, all your alts, and just do it quickly. Now, if you're brand new to the raid and don't really know the mechanics, you will have to do a little bit of learning into how you do it. The mechanics overall, from what I saw, were pretty similar to the normal ones. You just kind of had to do it solo. But if there is some confusion about how to do it, I might think about making some solo raid guides in the future as well if you want that. Let me know down in the comment section below if you do want that. But that is about it for solo raids. Great news, positive, and you're going to be getting a pretty good amount of gold when you do it. So that is good. The next thing that I want to talk about is going to be the tier 4 accessories. I know there was a lot of conversation about the tier 4 accessories before it came out. People were worried about the RNG factor of it and how you're going to roll it and actually spend money to get good accessories. And they gave us a little bit more of detail in this post here. So right here, they're saying basically your tier 4 accessories will have the following when they drop. They will have basic effects, so they'll have basic stats, your strength, agility, intelligence, etc., and also vitality. And they will also have the Ark passive enlightenment points, so the points that go into the tree. And it's saying that the higher quality accessory, the higher the option value is granted. So basically, there will be quality for accessories, and the higher the quality, the better you get in terms of stats, but also the better you get in terms of enlightenment points. So it shows you a range right here. Max you can get is 4 on a necklace, lowest you can get is 2. Max you can get on earrings and rings is 3, and 1 is the lowest. So you're going to want to get high quality accessories. That way you can get these Ark passive points to their maximum. And in addition to that, they also showed us the probabilities for the lines, rolling the lines. And I have to say, they are actually pretty generous with their probabilities. Now, some of you guys might be looking at this like 6.3%, 3%, 7.7%. That's pretty low, right? Well, think about it this way. If you look at all these percentages, they're actually not weighted in any way, shape, or form. So your likelihood of getting a max vitality is just as likely to get the additional damage percent that you'd probably want on your DPS, unlike bracelets, which were weighted. So if you look down here, your chance to get maximum vitality right here on blue was 3%, or sorry, that's a fixed effect. It's 2.38%. Whereas if you wanted to get something like hammer or wedge, getting a blue one is 0.45 as opposed to this 2.3%. So your likelihood of getting max vitality is so much higher on this, which is why it was so hard to roll some of these these lines basically. But in our situation with the earrings and the accessories, you actually don't have a situation where these are weighted. So getting a line that you want is actually not that hard. Pull up the calculator right here. You can see that 6.3 plus 3 plus 0.7 is 10%. So you have a 10% chance to roll a line of additional damage in any of these lines, and you have 3 chances too. So getting at least one of these lines is actually not that hard, and you probably are okay with even getting this 1% damage to enemies, right? You can get either this one or this one, so that's a 20% chance to get either of those lines in one of these rarities. Now, of course, if you want to get the maximum, the best line right here, it's going to be pretty hard, 0.7, right? If you want to get the legendary line of additional damage or percent damage to enemies, it's going to be pretty low percentage. But I think that's kind of how it's supposed to work. Getting something that's passable, something that's, decent, isn't going to be very hard to roll yourself. But if you really want something that is super, super good, then that is going to take some time, some investment, some money, and some luck. And this is what the whale's gonna be chasing for. And it's kind of like, in a sense, when I compare it to like a 9/7 stone versus a 7/7 stone. Most people are fine having a 7/7 stone. Of course, the super whales, the people who are going for min-max, are going to try to get a 9/7, but nobody's going to be gatekeeping you for having a 7/7. It's kind of going to be the same for this. I don't think anybody's going to get gatekept if they don't have all legendary additional damage, percent damage to enemies. They're going to gatekeep you if you have none of these. They're going to gatekeep you running some random abnormal status health recovery during battle crap. But if you have some of these, like 1 or 2 of these lines on your accessories, which shouldn't be that hard to get, I think that those people are not going to be gatekeeping you. So I'd say that overall, the neck polishing, the accessory polishing in general, was actually a pretty good and nice W on Smilegate's end. Of course, at the end of the day, there still is RNG, but it seems like the RNG isn't that bad at all. It's going to be definitely better than Bracelet RNG, and in my opinion, it definitely is better than the current RNG of our current accessory system. So there's that. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is definitely about the tier 4 gems. And we actually learned something new today. So in here, you can see a level 10 damage gem that's tier 3 compared to a level 10 damage gem that is tier 4. And as you can see, there is only a 4% difference within these two damage gems, meaning that unlike tier 3 gems where going from level 9 to level 10 is a huge jump, the increments between the levels, so like a level 9 to level 10 or a level 9 to level 8, are actually a fixed value. It's not like going from level 9 to level 10 is going to be a huge increase anymore. It's going to be the same. I think it's like 4%. So you go level 8, you increase 4% when you go into level 9. When you go to level 10, you increase by another 4%. So having level 9 versus level 10 damage gems isn't going to be as big of a difference compared to in tier 3. But the thing is, because there is this 1.2% attack power kind of buff that you get for having these gems, it definitely is at the end of the day going to be much stronger to have these tier 4 gems on your character compared to the tier 3 ones, especially as you start stacking up the number of gems that you have on your character. Each one of these is going to give you an increase to your attack power, and that is just going to stack up exponentially. So you're going to definitely want to have these gems upgraded later on at the end game. But on the bright side, I think that it's really cool that it's now a linear upgrade instead of a big difference, a big leap between 9 and 10. And also because of that, it's not going to be feeling as bad when you don't have those level 10 gems, at least, you know, for the good bit in the game. Though, if you've watched the streams in Korea, a lot of people have already been listing their level 10 damage gems, and they've been kind of crazy prices. So again, if you do want to gamble for gems, now is not a bad time to invest. You can get some big money later if you're going to be rolling those damage gems. But of course, if you keep rolling cooldowns, you're going to lose money. It is what it is. But yes, tier 4 gems, I think that is a pretty good change in my opinion. Of course, there can definitely be more, like for example, making it so that you can actually select between damage and cooldown. You don't have to roll and gamble for it, but you can't ask for everything, I guess, right? He gave us something that was good, and we definitely have to commend them for that. And then there's the Ark passive system. While I'm not going to be going in depth about the Ark passive system and all of the things that they added for the different classes, I am going to be leaving a link to this document down below that Lustboy, Sivo, Vanguard, all these people have been working on, and they're not done yet, by the way. They're still working on this document to go through all the classes and add the changes and the Ark passives that they have for the classes in this document. It looks a little bit weird right now because I have dark mode on. If you have normal mode on, it'll look completely normal and legible, but this document is going to be a very, very good resource, and by the time this video comes up, I'm assuming and thinking that they'll probably have everything up to date here. So this will have all of the changes to the different classes for the Ark passive systems on it. And then there's elixirs, and it is pretty much as we expected and talked about in our previous video about elixirs, but they are not going to be getting rid of epic elixirs. They're going to be adding a new elixir called the Shining Elixir of Wisdom, which does drop from hard mode Voldus. So it doesn't drop from normal, it drops from hard. And I know there's kind of been a screenshot that's been floating around that shows like the art, like the you know, Makoko Express thing that gives you like the 1600 elixirs, and those are legendary, but I think those are just for you when you reach 1620, and it's not that it's getting rid of epic elixirs at 1600. You'll still have to wait until 1620 to cut those. But in this, again, as we mentioned before, we have a new set of elixirs which will be reduced in cost and reduced in the number of catalysts that you need. But the problem is that the old elixirs that we've been saving up will have the same cost and number of refinements as before. So those will not have changed, and they will just be called Elixir of Shining Wisdom Old. But I think the one thing that is a bit positive that I didn't think was the case before was that I think that any elixirs that you do craft going forward will be these new elixirs. So any legendary elixirs you craft going forward will have the new rates and everything. It's not like what I thought where it was like, well, if you want to craft it, it'll still probably be the old rates. I think that the new ones when you craft it will also be the new rates, which is nice. So it's not perfect, but it's a little bit better than I expected. And then last but not least, this is, in my opinion, one of the better changes they added to this game, is that when you go to Payto and you buy those wines, it no longer has a cooldown anymore. So you can just go and buy as many wines as you want all at once. You don't have to sit there and wait for hours to try and collect those wines anymore. So that is the last update that I'm going to be covering today. And while there were many, many, many other updates here that were shared in this patch notes, I think that pretty much everything that was listed on here that I didn't talk about is either A, not like super important or relevant to us, or B, that it's just something that we knew about before and I don't think I need to go in depth about it. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below about these changes coming to season 3. Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it? Or would you have liked to see more? Let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button, hit the sub button, ring the bell for notifications. And also, again, I am streaming on a new schedule right now at twitch.tv/misoxshiru starting at 1 p.m. PST every single day, on weekdays at least, and weekends will be on the old schedule. So hopefully I see you guys on my stream, but if not, hopefully I'll see y'all on the next video. All right, guys, peace out.